All right, guys, welcome back to Jared at 3Cs, and today we have a customer, and this is pretty normal for this time of year. Customers that are new to plowing, we have a snapped winch cable, and we're just going to give you a repair video on how to fix this. So what happens typically is first-time ATV plowers, when you go to pick the plow up, there's a point to where the frame bottoms out on the plow frame, and or you just keep sucking and sucking and sucking until it physically can't, something's going to give. You know, the winch motor's pulling it in. You can see the case with this one is that it just never quit pulling in. It stretched the cables completely out, and we bent the front here pretty bad by sucking it in. You can see how hard it was sucking on this thing. It kind of, what's cool with these like KFI winch stoppers is this is supposed to give you like a buffer. Like once this comes in and you kind of feel it, that's when you let up it. The winch will start to make a different noise. Well, that's okay. This one we didn't stop. This one just kept going and kind of buckled everything. So we're going to show you two different ways and two different things that you can do. The cheapest and quickest thing you can do is like a winch repair cable kit. So you can buy a kit like this, and what we would do is we would pull the cable out. Obviously we need to pull it out like 6 or 7 inches because this, maybe even further, we'll have to inspect it because this is a 50-foot long cable. So you know, when you're plowing you only need like 1.5 feet, or no, like 4 feet. So usually you can pull this cable out, cut it, and we have the two different methods up here on the rack, and we're going to give you a tutorial on that. That's not going to be the fix that we choose to do. So you can do this. It's only going to cost you $10 as long as you have the tools to get back up and running again. What we're going to do for this customer, because the majority of their winch use is only going to be for plowing, we recommend upgrading to this style of a fair lead. And this is better for synthetic rope. So we're going to switch this customer from the steel cable to a synthetic rope. And then we're going to reinstall a new winch stopper. And then we're going to take the hook off of this and put it on that. So let's jump into it. So I'd mentioned most customers can get back up and running for as little as $10. That's assuming that you didn't buckle this so far and bend it. You can tell this was broke for quite a while because the bottom roller quit spinning, and they just kept running it in and out, and you can see the groove it cut right in that bottom roller. And this would be a whole new one of these. I think these are $39 roughly for a new one of these. You can see it would just bolt right back on the front there. So that was just a quick tidbit, is this one is so bent. Sometimes customers can get away with, if it's not bent but it's grooved, you can just unbolt this and flip it, and then even this top roller won't spin just because the crookedness of it. But typically you could flip this and then use this for the bottom. So that might be an extra expense if you're just going to fix it the cable way. So the first thing we have to do is we need to get that cable pulled out of there. It's sucked way back in. We don't know how hard this one's going to be. I feel like this is going to be more difficult because of how stressed it was. So we're going to start with a 15 mil, and we're going to pull the 2 bolts off on each side. And that's going to give us a better view, kinda, of our winch cable. And we're going to grab a pair of like needle nose, and hopefully we can pull that out. I don't think it's going to be that simple, so let's try that. So without really doing anything yet, we can kind of feel the end of it, just some initial inspections. Oh, is that the end of it that easily? And we got gloves on and still that might not even be enough, because that is going to be super frayed, so watch your hands. If that is really that close, that's pretty incredible. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a pair of like channel lock or vice grips on this, and we'll pull out on it and go from there. So we're going to use these, and we're just going to pinch on here, and I might have to make them tighter eventually. We'll do this. If I can get it, I might have made it too tight. We'll see. So let's try that. And then we're going to put this in free spool mode. And right now, let's see if I can make it so you guys can read this. Engaged is turned maybe this way. It's a free spool. It's going to go that way. So now, go ahead and try to pull on that. There's no way it's going to be that easy. Oh my gosh, it's actually coming out. That's insane. I can't believe it's actually coming out. It's going to be bound up for sure, just because of how much pressure was on it. So this cable is probably going to fight us. I'm surprised it went this far already. So now you can kind of see how it's like bound up underneath of itself, and that's just because of how much pressure it was under. So we're going to just show you real quick the quick and easy way to repair this, and then we're going to work on getting this out the rest of the way here in a minute. So what we're going to do is kind of inspect this, and coming back, you know, maybe like a foot is all this one's really going to lose actually. And because I know, let me grab the piece. You know, some of these wines are from up in here, and you can see where they were broken off. And you don't want to touch that stuff because it's super gnarly. It'll poke right through your skin. So we're just gonna grab some electrical tape, and this is gonna be where we're gonna make our cut. And the electrical tape is just gonna keep it all together for us. And that way it doesn't keep fraying. It'll kind of be like burning the end of a rope or something. And we're just gonna, I think we usually just use the cutters is usually the tool that we use. You can also use real quick, sorry. You can also use the grinder, but this is pretty simple. And we'll just take an extra one to clean it up. Check that out. So still don't really want to touch it, but it's okay. Look at that, it's gonna keep it nice and clean, nice and tight. And now, yeah, or we could have used that. You know, we could have just cut it. That's a grinder wheel. We would have wanted a cutter wheel on there, but I just wanted to show you the tool that we would have used. So now we'll cut this open and we'll give you a demonstration of this. So we kind of wind it around, and we start with this clip. That way we know, because we need to have room for all 3 of these to stack along here. And let's see, so let's just do one. We'll get as close to the clip as we can. Then we're gonna take, it's kind of set one way, so it kind of goes on there. And we're gonna put both nuts on. And in theory, we would just tighten this down as much as possible, and all 3 would stack along. I kind of want to tighten it just a little bit so we can kind of show it. And we would keep working this down as we tighten it, and then that would be like the finished product, just like that. So we'd have all 3. Obviously, our fair lead would have been put back on first, but this isn't our finished product for this job, so we'll cut to the new style. So we got to get this cable out next, and it is wound underneath itself in there like 7 times. So we're gonna have to actually kind of build this in a way, put the winch hook on there, and then go outside. Sometimes with like a truck, or we'll find something to use, we'll show you. We'll put the winch in free spool, and then we'll back the ATV up because it is so wound on itself, we can't physically pull it out by hand. So we'll kind of build it, and we'll show you at the end here. Put the fair lead back on because we don't want to bend the bracket behind. If this wasn't on, it was gonna pull in the metal behind at a different angle, and it wouldn't have been good for it. We put a couple of the thimbles on there just to have some strength. We put the hook on it. So we're gonna go outside, put the winch in the free spool mode, and then back the ATV up and see if we can't get that mess behind there to pull out. Okay, so of course it's snowing like crazy. I had just enough cable to get it around the ball of my truck. I don't want to put it on like the safety hook because it'll rip it out. So now the winch is in free spool. Go ahead and put it in reverse. See if we can get it to pull out. Can't see them pull my truck. That's crazy. You can see how nasty that is. So even if you tried to repair that, it wasn't going to be good. And so now, go ahead and stop real quick, and then I'll just like put my foot on it. Okay, you can go back quite a bit more. I think we can get it by hand from there. We'll go back in and pull it out by hand. So we went ahead and dropped the fair lead down so we could have a better viewing window. And you'll see right there, that winch cable goes into the hole, and there's gonna be a set screw in there. You can kind of see the set screw hole on the top there. So I stopped early outside because we didn't want to like unwind it and then like pull on the set screw. So now we can kind of grab it by hand. I want to see if we can grab that and see if we can get that to come out. And real quick right here, stop for a second. We're going to show people this little, see where it's red right here in your winch cable? That is your maximum out that you should ever go with it. So if you're like unwinding this to hook up to a tree, if you don't have a problem and you're just trying to help somebody out, once you see this red, you have to stop because you have to have enough cable wrapped around the body of the winch still. So a little side note, sorry, we can keep pulling on it there. And so then now to be able to see that set screw, we'll have to spin it a little bit more, and we can. Well, I guess we could engage the winch and go out with it so it turns it. So I'm gonna turn the right there. So now we're back to being engaged, and keep going out with it a little bit more. Yeah, there's that set screw. So now we're gonna pull that set screw out. So the set screw on this ATV just happens to be a 3mm, and so now we can kind of set it in there. We know it's in, I can feel it. Go ahead and we'll just kind of back that out. I'm not sure if that needs to come all the way out or just backed out. Pull it out and we'll see. Probably a hard angle. Oh, you still got it. Sweet. So now what we could do is put the winch in some, so that way we can see a little bit more. Okay, I think that's about perfect right there. Sorry, the lights, it's hard to show here. I think that's about perfect right there. We hope first take. Watch this. It's going to go right in. Thread it right into its spot there. I think it went in a pretty good amount. So now we're going to, what do we got to do? We got to go out with it just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more. Perfect, dude. Now we can get that set screw re-tightened up. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, you can actually see the rope coming out the top of it, so we know it went all the way through for sure. And that's not going to affect anything. It'll be good. All right, so now it's just going to be a matter. Ooh, that's exciting. So now it's just going to be a matter of us getting the. Good job. We're going to get the winch rope put on, and then there's plenty of room in the winch hook to get the new fair lead. That'll fit through there. Perfect. Yeah, so now we can get this wound on, and then we'll put this fair lead on. So I'm going to grab this cable, and I'm going to walk it back real quick. I don't want any kind of tangles in it. Need to have this completely sorted out before we start to pull on it. And I think we're good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my hand pretty far back. Chris is just going to run the winch in, and I'm going to work it side to side. I wish I had a better light to show you guys this. I'm not sure if this is going to help. Oh yeah, maybe. Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and go in with it. I'm going to keep my hand pretty far back. Yep. And I'm guiding it so it's not on top of itself there. I'm working it across. Okay. Stop for a second. It's catching on all kinds of stuff over here. And then I got to work my way back across the other way. And it gets kind of tricky because it's all blue and hard to see, but I've done enough of them to know that it's kind of like a hose reel. Kind of working back and forth. Once I get to the end, I'm going to work this way again. And I'm keeping pressure on the cable. That way it's not loose up in there. We don't want any kind of, if I let go of this, it's just going to unwind and make a mess. So we're just trying to keep it nice and tight in there. Okay, we're good. And so now I'm going to stop out a little ways. And then now I'm going to keep pressure on it, and we can fish our fair lead through there with our two 15mm bolts. Yep. And then I'll grab it back from you. Sweet. And we'll get these tightened back on there. So now we got the new cable on and the fair lead is in. It's just kind of rebuilding our winch hook. And we have a bin of cotter pins, and you could have probably reused this one, no problem, but we have a new cotter pin that we're going to use. The hook will go back in, cotter pin on the other side of it. It's kind of cool. It already has the metal clip on there. And then it's just going to reinstall his rubber stopper. So we'll get that all reinstalled and we'll show you the finished product. All right, guys, thanks for watching. That wraps this project up. Took a little bit longer because we had to go outside in the snow and pull it back out with the truck. But this is kind of the finished product. We got our clip back on there, our winch stopper, our new cable, and our new fair lead. Customers should be all set, ready to go. If you found the video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. Have a great day and enjoy the ride.